Welcome friends to another r/IDontWorkHereLady video. While you may not work here, could you help out and hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our first story of the day is by Georgie Jamix. Security, she's a thief! This happened a few days back when I was on my off day, and since I got my cash incentives for Chinese New Year from my company, I decided to get some shirts from Uniqlo as they have the Line series clothing, and I'd gotten two from a store nearby. As there's another outlet a few stops away, I sort of went there to see if there's any other designs I can get my hands on. Plus, I was wearing their peanut shirt that I brought a year ago. So I walked in with this Uniqlo paper bag and Karen started to ask, "Are you trying to steal things with that uniform?" I ignored and she follows me all around. Before I exit, she screams at me to stop me and tells all the mall security staff that I've stolen the shirts with the barriers not beeping. Screams at me telling me I'm not professional as a staff of Uniqlo and not cool to steal those shirts while on shift. I laughed and thankfully I did keep my receipt because I knew this might happen. I showed the receipt to the staff of Uniqlo and security, but Karen kept insisting I stole the clothes while working there. Of course, I was released knowing I'm just shopping, but Karen starts to scream at security for being incompetent while I walk off. In that situation, do you feel really bad for the security having to deal with such a dense Karen customer like that? Or would you just be happy to get out of that situation and keep on moving? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Richard N. Backer. I don't work here, but I'll ask for you anyway. I'm sure most I don't work here situations are polite and don't end in some Karen being arrested. For example, I once worked in central London for a famous insurer, and in those days you had to wear a shirt, tie, and business suit. At lunchtime, I generally popped over to the local famous countrywide shop to grab some sort of meal deal. When getting only one or two items, I don't use a basket, so it wasn't surprising that I could be mistaken for a manager. On one occasion, a man came up to me and asked where the cheese was. I said, "Well, I don't work here, so I'm not certain, but the milk's in that corner, so I'm guessing cheese will be nearby." The man said, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were the manager." I said, "It's okay, understandable mistake. I hope you find your cheese." No drama, cheese was where I guessed, so the man gets his cheese, case closed. But this story is about yours truly, me getting it wrong. A few years ago, I was in a city, also world famous, but often for the wrong reasons. Not the same one as my earlier entitled people story, but not too far away from it. With a friend, we were both 50-ish. We were there for a couple of beers, probably a bite, then cocktails at some fancy rooftop bar. This was our usual MO. This must have been spring or autumn because it started getting dark around 6 or 7 p.m. Our first port of call was a bar near the bus station which was by the river and has a quite long, narrow balcony, quite literally almost touching the river. We'd grabbed a couple of beers and grabbed a table on said balcony. Not long afterwards, a couple of blokes, 30-ish probably, sat at the next table and a third fiddled, also about 30-ish, with the door locks you get on the tops and bottoms of doors. Not the things for which you need a key, so he could fasten the doors to the balcony open. He said to the two blokes who were sitting down, "I'll just be a minute," and was just turning back to inside when I got his attention and asked, "Could you turn the outside lights on for us, please?" I do literally say please and thank you to serving staff at all times. My parents brought me up properly. The bloke opening the doors laughed and said, "I don't work here." I said, "Oh, sorry, I thought you did," and started to get up to go in myself. The bloke waved me back to my seat and carried on, "It's alright, I know the barman, I'll ask him for you," and went back inside. 30 seconds later, the lights came on. 5 minutes later, the bloke came back outside with beers for himself and his friends. When he settled, I was still a bit embarrassed, said thank you for getting the lights turned on, and explained, "Sorry, the way you opened the doors and your manner made me think you're the bar manager." He said, "Don't worry, it's understandable," and his friend started ribbing him. "Are you sure you should be drinking on the job?" My friend ribbed me, "What a plonker," etc. Anyway, the five of us had a good, friendly chat and a couple of beers apiece over the space of an hour or so before we moved on to a well-known eatery, and then some old fashions in some overpriced rooftop bar. Nobody got angry, nobody was arrested, and the beer and banter flowed. Moral of the story? Be polite, and don't be a plonker. See, this is one of those situations where it's totally understandable why OPs said what they said, I maintain that what separates people like OP from these awful entitled Karens is just the reaction afterwards. If you assume somebody works there and you ask them for help and they say, "Oh, I don't actually work here," you want somebody that would act like OP did. Apologize, give a quick little reasoning, and it even turned into a fun night where they could hang out with that person. Our next story is by our mommy. It finally happened. I, 72-year-old female, was at the home improvement store buying a blade for my jigsaw when I hear, "Can you help me?" It's an old couple and I politely say, "I don't work here." He says, "But you're wearing orange." I was actually wearing my gray improv t-shirt that says, "We make things up," in big orange letters. An actual employee showed up and took over. I guess that would be a good saying for a home improvement place. For somebody that's really into improv, they should know the first rule is to never say no. Yes and is like the golden rule. Yet when this person came up to them and asked them, they said no right away, just killed the whole scene. Our next story is by Aquamarine333. I'm a passenger, a short one. In the early 2010s, my husband and I were somewhat short on money in good old Germany, and for some travels between my parents and our place, we used the then newly opened and cheap long-distance bus lines. My husband, working as much paid overtime as possible as a freelancer, sometimes jumped at the bus directly from construction sites he was working, wearing full protective gear, including yellow reflective jacket. These buses usually stopped at every larger town on the track, with some waiting time for the passengers leaving and the new passengers to get on. My husband, again directly from work, was hungry and went out at one of the stops to get a snack at one of the takeaways. While he was standing outside next to the bus eating, there comes an angry guy from behind the bus shouting at him, "What the heck? How dare you eat here? How long should I wait out there with you blocking the road? Move your goddarn bus, there's enough space in front of you now," and storms off. My husband, oblivious that he was the target, just continued eating, thinking the bus driver must have been nearby. A few minutes later, he comes on the bus again and is stopped by a nice old lady in the front row. She says, "What a rude guy. No manners anywhere anymore today." My husband, polite as he is, small talks a little with the old lady, still oblivious. While he's talking, the angry guy comes again, poking his finger at my husband, screaming again, "Will you get your butt in that seat and move it, god darn it?" My husband, finally realizing they all think he's the driver, said, "I can't, I'm a passenger." They say, "Ha ha, nice try. You wear our jacket." My husband turned around, showing the actual label of his client on the back of the jacket, a big known company in Germany, and says, "No, I'm not." They say, "Oh," long pause, "but why don't you tell me where the driver is?" He says, "Because I don't know. I am a passenger." They say, "Oh." Then the angry guy turns away and leaves. The real bus driver came back a few minutes later, and obviously had needed a longer bio break. He moved the bus on his own account, and during the waiting time, got told the story by the old lady and had a good laugh. And no, angry guy did not come back. I definitely feel for any hardworking person that wears like construction or high-vis outfits, because I've had friends who work in fields like that, and they tell me that they can go to Walmart after work and just browse the aisles and get confused for being a worker there just because you're wearing a high-vis jacket. It can literally say like so-and-so company on the front of it that has nothing to do with the store. Maybe not even like a conventional construction job, and they just don't read it and ask you for help anyways. Our next story is by Scaffrax. Wearing an NHS lanyard outside of work. Is it acceptable? It's not showing off. Hey guys, I'm a pharmacist. Got one of them blue lanyards that say NHS Pharmacist with my NHS Smart Card on the card holder on it. I have a tendency to frequently lose such things if I don't have it dangling around my neck. Lost my uni card like 10 times over 4 years. My question is, will people think I'm a bit weird if I wear it outside of work? For example, I like to go to my local Spar shop around the corner before work to grab some snacks. I hate having it in my pocket or in my rucksack because it's either hard to find or it falls out. Would people think you're weird for it? I don't think people would think you're weird, but they might get confused. I know for a while, I went to some classes where you had to have an ID card on a lanyard, and there were times after class where I would stop somewhere to get something and you just kind of forget to take it off, and just that lanyard is all you need for people to confuse you. I'd suggest maybe tucking it in your shirt if you have to wear it. This next story is by Far Professional 832. Okay, call the manager, because I'm not working at this IKEA. So this happened to me a few years ago, and I quite remember it every time I go to IKEA or see this sign. I was doing some shopping with my mom, and we decided to go to IKEA because I needed a lamp for my desk. Once we were there, I saw that the employees had yellow shirts with small blue stripes, and I'd also picked a yellow shirt this day. Half an hour later, someone came up to me and asked, "Hey, can you show me the new tables?" I said, "No, I don't know where they are." The person answered, "Okay, then come help me find them." I just said, "No, why should I?" Because I was looking at something with my mom. Then the person became angry and became fairly loud and said, "I'll call the manager now and get you in trouble." I just said, "Okay, but I don't work here," and walked away. A lot of people were looking at the scene after the person kind of screamed at me, a 15-year-old boy. I have to say at this time my beard started to grow, and I looked fairly old for my age and was wearing a yellow shirt, but it's a funny story me and my mom often laugh about. It's just, how many times do you go to a place, you find somebody in the actual uniform, and they actually are lying about whether or not they work there to get out of helping you? Like, it seems like the root of all these people's arguments that they're getting lied to or something, when I don't think anybody's actually doing that. This next story is by Weird Person 1670. "Miss, I'm sorry, I don't work here. I don't know where the granola bars are. I'm 14, I look 18, I'm 5'9", long brown hair, brown eyes and fair skin. I'm a babysitter but don't work in retail. I'm a very polite person. I'm in the US, the legal working age is 16. I was in Walmart looking for gifts for my cousin because it was her birthday. I was wearing a blue shirt and jeans. I was browsing the toy section when I heard a woman clear her throat. I ignored it. Karen said, "Excuse me, miss." Me looking around to see if anybody else was around, but I saw nobody. Said, "I'm sorry, miss, are you talking to me?" She says, "Yes, you. Do you know where the granola bars are?" I say, "I'm sorry, miss, but I don't work here." "No, I don't know where the granola bars are. Maybe the grocery section?" Karen, getting angry, said, "You clearly work here. Where are the granola bars?" I say, "Miss, not to be rude, but I don't work here. Can you please find an employee?" Karen's face is red and says, "I need the granola bars now." I say, "Please don't shout at me. Like I said, I don't work here." Karen, yelling at me and acting like a 2-year-old, says, "No, I want the granola bars now." I compose myself and raise my voice, but not yelling. "Miss, I don't work here. Please stop yelling, calm down, and I can find you an employee." Her chill husband and chill kid are embarrassed and standing there, pretending not to know this woman. She says, "No, get me your manager now. I want your manager now. I'll get you fired." Me, tempted to say something, but I keep my mouth shut and say very politely, "Miss, please leave me alone. I don't work here. I'm not telling you again." A manager approaches. Karen says, "Excuse me, sir, are you the manager?" The manager says, "Yes, I am." "What's going on here?" I heard yelling. Karen says, "Your employee here refuses to help me find the granola bars and she was being rude to me." Chill husband and chill kid just want to leave at this point. The manager says, "I know, they don't work here. I know the employees on my shift by face and name." I say, "I'm 14 and can't legally work." Karen says, "Your employee just lied." The manager says, "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're disturbing the peace." She says, "I'm calling the police." I say, "Please do it, go call the police." Awesome Officer 1 and Awesome Officer 2 show up after Karen called and said, "We got a call about some harassment and assault. What happened?" I cross my arms, look with a sassy look and roll my eyes. Officer 1 says, "Officer 2, let's question everyone." Then says to me, "Let's go in another aisle." I tell the full story in detail. I overhear what Karen says to Officer 2. Karen says, "Officer, I asked the employee with the long brown hair where the granola bars are, and she started being rude to me. She even slapped me across the face when I asked for her manager." Everyone backs me up except Karen. Officer 1 says, "Manager, can we see the security footage?" Manager takes them back while we stay out. They come back a while later, and Officer 1 says to Karen, "You're under arrest for lying to an officer and misuse of 911. I keep a poker face the entire time. Officer 1 and Officer 2 put Karen in handcuffs and take her away. Officer 1 says, "If I'm honest, this isn't the first report we had about her. Needless to say, I think that's gonna be a pretty fine for that Karen, and probably a ban from that store." And our final story of the day is by Mr. Dane, short and sweet. I was grocery shopping at a local chain where the employees dress casually. I was spending way too much time deciding on which bread to choose. I could hear two girls, middle school age, saying, "Where is it? I don't know. Maybe we can ask someone." Then they asked me, "Hey, do you work here?" Thinking about the stories I read here, I said, "No, but maybe I can help you anyway." As I responded before asking what they wanted, the second girl immediately found the snacks they wanted right behind me. So I said, "There they are. I found them." Both the girls smiled and said thank you and ran off to pay. It's definitely nice and refreshing that, in these stories, people like OP are willing to still try to help anyway. Maybe that way of handling it is honestly the best way you could deal with a Karen. That's probably wishful thinking though. There's probably no good way to handle a true Karen. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.